So there's not a lot of hands-on work for you, but obviously your background, getting to the point where you are now in terms of studying, I'm sure you had to do some of that as a student.
That's right. Well, usually for a job that we do, you would need a basic degree in some biological subject, or it might be geography, it could be environmental science, but that's really the way into the profession. And then it's really only when you get into a job, either with what we call an NGO, a non-governmental organisation, something like the Ulster Wildlife Trust or RSPB, that you really start to learn. Or if you come to an organisation like the Northern Ireland Environment Agency, you really start to learn on the job about, what it is that you can do to conserve nature or biodiversity.
And just in terms of conserving nature, why is it important? Just explain that briefly for us, and how can we do it more in our everyday lives? So I suppose, Joe Public, how can we make it possible, living that out every day? Yeah.
Well, I think I've talked in general about why biodiversity is so important, because it actually gives us our food, and it gives us, it sustains life. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of some of the species and habitats that we can conserve, if you think about it, like, would you like to live in an area that's totally devoid of biodiversity? Would you like to live in an area where there's no trees, where there's no gardens, where there's no fields, where there's no meadows, there's no woodland, everything's built up? You often hear people thinking, I was on holiday in such and such a place, and it's way overdeveloped. There's far too many buildings. So really, we're in the business of trying to create a sustainable natural environment. So whether you live in a town or a city in the countryside, we want agriculture to be sustainable. So as there's always green fields out there, we want areas where people can go, areas of outstanding natural beauty like the Mournes. We want to see places like the Belfast Hills kept the way they are. They are working landscapes. And we want to see people, no matter where they live in a town or a city, having a good, healthy, natural environment around them. Because people need places to go. They need places to walk. Whether you be walking your dog, they need to breathe fresh air. They need to be able to see nature around them, even if they're not that interested. For example, there's a lot of work that's been done to show that nature is very good for you, even if you're not that aware of it. But if you're out in the fresh air and the birds are singing, without you even knowing about it, that's helping your mental and physical well-being. So that's the reason why we're into. I think it's fairly common sense that if we weren't looking after our biodiversity, we would end up in a very poor quality environment. And I think it's only when that happened people would really realise what they've lost.
Mm-hmm. So what can we do to help conserve energy and to help you do your job?
Yeah. Well, I think first of all, there's things you can do yourself. Just go out and enjoy it. That's the main thing that I would say to the public. Enjoy the biodiversity that's around you. Enjoy what's in your own garden. As you walk out the door, enjoy Northern Ireland. Enjoy walking on the coast. Enjoy going up the Belfast Hills. Go out to the Bog Meadows. Go into the Falls Park. Open your eyes and ears and look at what's around you. Now, if you then decide that you want to develop that interest more, you might join one of the NGOs, you might join the RSPB, join Ulster Wildlife Trust, maybe get involved in volunteering. Another thing that I think is very important, that you give political support. If you appreciate the natural environment around you, make sure your local councillor hears about it, make sure your MLA hears about it, and get interested in what's going on around you in terms of planning, because it's your area. And if you live in an area and you see a new housing development coming in, make sure and use all the community resources around you to have your say about whether you think it's a good idea. Do you want more green space? Do you want an area that your kids would be safe? Do you want an area where they'll be able to go to school, a greenway, where they'll be able to have safe transport for school? So my message to people is get involved, try to get action on the ground. You can then take it down to a very personal level. For example, in your garden, you can put up bird boxes, you could put a bumblebee's nest, you can grow plants. You just keep yourself in touch with nature, because it'll give you tremendous satisfaction. And just by doing little simple things like that, I mean, there are tens of thousands of people living. So if everybody's doing just a wee tiny bit, it all does add up.